Today, we're going to talk about something that's, well, it's tough, but it's really important. Selling your home when you're going through a divorce. It's an incredibly emotional time, and the process itself is just packed with unique challenges. So our goal here is to break down what makes it so different and hopefully bring a little bit of clarity to how you can navigate it, especially if you're a homeowner here in Athens or Oconee County.
So let's just jump right into the big question, the one that's probably on your mind. Is selling a home during a divorce really any different than a regular sale?
And the answer is a hard no. It's not even close. You're operating in a completely different world with a whole other set of pressures and rules. Let's dig into what really makes it so unique.
Okay, so the first and maybe the biggest difference comes down to the motivations of the sellers. In a normal sale, everyone's on the same team. But in a divorce, you're often dealing with two people who have very different goals, and the financial and emotional stakes are just sky high.
Think of it like this, a tale of two totally different sales. On one side, you've got your standard home sale. The sellers, they share one goal, get the best possible price in a reasonable amount of time. Simple. But on the other side, you have the divorce sale, where personal timelines, priorities, and what each person wants out of the deal can be completely at odds with each other. And that complicates everything.
And these conflicts, they pop up in some very real, very practical ways. You might have one spouse who just needs to sell fast to get funds for a new place, but the other spouse wants to hold out for the absolute top dollar. This can spark arguments over everything from the initial list price to what repairs you should or shouldn't do. And all of this is happening under a mountain of emotional stress, which, as you know, makes it so much harder to make clear, logical decisions.
Now, it's not just about the personal dynamics between the sellers. There's another huge layer of complexity here, and that comes from the outside. We're talking about attorneys and the rigid timelines set by the court system. You see, the sale of the house isn't just happening on its own. It's almost always woven into a larger legal framework. It might be part of a divorce settlement agreement, or it could be a direct order from a judge saying the property must be sold. That right there fundamentally changes the whole game. And that legal control can get very, very specific. A court can set a non-negotiable date that the house has to be on the market, or it might order automatic price drops if the home doesn't sell in a certain amount of time. It can even put strict rules on how you negotiate offers or set a hard deadline for closing day, adding a ton of extra pressure to an already stressful process.
So we've laid out the big challenges, right? You've got conflicting goals on the inside and legal pressures from the outside. So how in the world do you manage all of this? This is where a very specific, very important person comes into the picture, the neutral professional.
So what is a neutral professional? Well, it's a real estate agent who acts as a totally objective, unbiased third party. Their loyalty isn't to one spouse over the other. Their loyalty is to the property and the transaction itself. Their entire job is to make sure the sale is successful and fair, and that both people are treated equally every step of the way.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, this professional becomes the central hub for all communication, which is huge for cutting down on he said, she said misunderstandings. They talk directly with both attorneys to make sure every legal box is checked. They handle all the negotiations objectively based on the market, not emotion. And maybe most importantly, they make sure both parties get the exact same information at the exact same time. Total transparency.
In this quote right here, it just says it all. When you have that neutral person managing the process, the focus shifts. It's no longer about the personal disagreements. It's about the shared goal of getting the house sold successfully. It's all about de-escalating the conflict so you can execute the plan. Now, having this structured approach, it isn't just about making things less stressful, though that's a huge plus. It's also about the money. It's about protecting what is often the biggest financial asset you both share.
Let's be real, even in the middle of all the personal turmoil, there's a really critical financial goal here. You want to get the most money possible for your property. A sale that's managed poorly because of conflict or delays, that can cost you thousands. A professional, structured process is designed to protect that value and make sure both of you walk away with the resources you need to start your next chapter.
It's also so important to remember that you need a full support team. The real estate agent is just one part of that. They have to work hand in hand with the divorce attorneys, with any financial advisors, and maybe even a mediator. When that whole team is communicating and working together, the entire process just becomes so much smoother and less overwhelming for you.
All right, so let's pull all of this together. What's the main takeaway here, and what's the best way to really move forward through this kind of complex situation?
The bottom line is this.
Selling a home during a divorce is a whole different ballgame. It absolutely requires seamless coordination between your legal team and your real estate professional. It demands total discretion, and it really needs someone who can bring care and structure to a situation that can otherwise feel very chaotic and emotional.
At the end of the day, getting through this successfully really comes down to having the right guidance. If you're in the Athens or Oconee County area and you find yourself facing this, it's good to know there are professionals who have specific experience in this area. Reaching out for a confidential chat with an expert is a really smart, proactive first step you can take to get the support and the clarity you need to move forward.